So, you've played Cyberpunk 2077, enjoyed the game, and you're looking forward to the next one, Cyberpunk 2. I'm not quite sure how we're going to deal with the setting of 2 AD, but I trust Pondsmith. Most of his ideas have been good if we ignore Cyberpunk 3.0. But with all that, you're wondering, I heard there's a little tabletop about the game. I want to give it a shot. So, let's explore some more of this whole cyberpunk world that people have been talking about. I don't know if we've been talking about it online, but hey, I know some people have been talking about it, and that's what counts. Good news for you. There's about 40 years of lore to work with. 5 versions of the games to play in tabletop form, some far better than others. Again, I'm talking about used Cyberpunk 3.0. You're a doozy. And I will be covering within this the version that introduced me personally to the cyberpunk world 2020. So, with all this, some little background. It's created by Artel, same people who do the one and only Witcher TTRPG, as well as other stuff like Mechton, Cyber Generation, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And within all of this, they use the same skeleton at the core, interlock. It was previously used in such things as Mechton 2 and Cyberpunk 2013, also known as 1.0. The system of interlock involves taking a D10 and a handful of D6s. That's all you need. No fancy D20s, no D8s. You might run into a single use of a D3, but you just take a D6, divide it in half. Boom. That's what you get. And with all of this involves a very simple system. You take your base stat, plus your skill, plus the die, give or take whatever additional bonuses you need for the whole world. The combat, again, it's the same. You're just going to be playing with more bonuses. Handful of die. Boom. And also, high chance of character death. I hope you aren't too attached to your character, but I hope you're attached enough to give a shit when your character dies. It necessarily doesn't happen all that often, but it happens often enough. Combat is lethal. And that's a damn good thing if it's what you're looking for. To make your character, you're going to need to go over 3 major aspects. This is a longer version of the little thing of a short I made a while back going over how to make a character with the quick and dirty character creation. But what you need your stats. This is what it says. It's the statistics of your character ranging from 0 to 10, with the real number being 2. 2 to 10 gives you a general idea of how your character is. Skills. These are determined by what you pick up, what your career is, and your backstory. Mash all those together, congratulations, you have a base set of a character. You might be a Luddite, but you're a character. And who really likes a Luddite in this system? The only way you can really keep up is if you do a shit ton of combat drugs. Can be done, not always the best. And finally, we have Chrome and Combat, also known as Friday Night Firefight. As I've said, one of the best combat systems out of any TTRPG I have played to date. Going through all these, we're going to see some flashing stuff on screen, get you a general idea of what we're doing. We'll have math, we'll have explanations, we'll even have little graphics. This video will have it all, mostly. So with it, we're going to start off simple. Stats, it's what they say on the tin. Like I said, ranging from 2 to 10, with 5 being about the average for a person, and 10 being the very peak of humanity. Well, organic one anyway. You can occasionally go a bit above 10, namely with strength and your body stat, but that's just because you're so full of tin that, hey, I'm not sure you can even legally be called human anymore. But in terms of a 5, think of the most average looking person you know, the most average intelligence individual. That's a 5. You know, nothing special, but it's a good middle of the pack to be, all things considered. So with it, we're going to go over each of the stats and include that little tomato metaphor you hear a bit in the D&D side of things. You know, oh, Dex is how you throw a tomato, constitution is how you can eat a poison tomato, stuff like that. With it, we're going to do something similar, but it's going to get a bit off. We'll see how this one goes. So, intelligence. This is noticing something is wrong with the fruit salad somebody made, and also knowing that it is a organic tomato that you put in the salad. Reflexes. This is being able to throw or dodge the aforementioned tomato. Tech. This is fixing your weapon in cyberware after it gets clogged with tomato guts. Or photographing a painting of a tomato you made. Tech is a really broad skill. For all my issues with Cyberpunk Red, I appreciate that it splits technical ability and technique into two separate skills. Tech includes everything from fixing a car to lockpicking to painting. Like I said, really broad skill. Now we've got cool. This is resisting the torture of being force-fed the fruit salad and making you look damn cool while you're doing it. You know, like proper Solid Snake in the torture machine where you gotta fucking mash that button non-stop. That level of cool. Now, we've got attractiveness. This is how hot you look while eating the tomato salad. And also, noticing how well put together your outfit and skin routine is. You know, how you can use tomato to spice that up. That general thing. It's how good you look. Can't include too much of a tomato metaphor with that one. Also, we have luck. This is being able to miss the chunks of tomato while eating the salad blindfolded. Luck is a very nebulous skill, and you can spend the points to better your chances of things. Luck is an interesting skill to mess with, and it won't necessarily be the most useful, but it can definitely help. Movement allowance. This one is going to require a shit ton of math, and unless you're really playing on a grid, it doesn't matter all that much, but it is worth investing so that you can actually move around at a reasonable speed. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the back of the pack, and that's no fun. Body. How many tomatoes you can carry, how little damage they do when each tomato is thrown at you and hits. This is, again, it's what it says on the tin. This is how much body you have, stuff like that. And now, finally, we have empathy. This is convincing people to eat the salad. Also, it's how many salads you can eat before you go absolutely insane. This one will be touched on later when we go over the actual Chrome segment. But empathy is one of these stats that is invested in a lot for most builds. Right, novelty t-shirts behind us now. There's 3 ways to find these stats. Fast. With this, you just roll a bunch of d10s, 9 to be specific. You re-roll 1s and 2s. Congratulations, those are your stats. Distribute them amongst that list I gave you however you want. You have a character. Random. You're gonna roll 9d10. You have that many points to spend on a character. It works out well. This is fun for you to actually build a character. I prefer fast because, it gets you a general set of numbers to work with. And, hey, alle achte est. You are in the hands of fate for what you actually end up looking like. And finally, we have cinematic. This is meant for GMs who need to get an idea of what power level is had within their tables by each point level bracket. 80 points is a major hero. You're going to have about an 8 in each stat if you do wide across the board. Whereas 50, you get 5s across the board. That's for your average Joe. This isn't really recommended for wide table use. It's, like I said, more of a tool to figure it out, and it's something that I used in my Creating David Martinez video. Now that we've got all that sorted, it's time to figure out how your character uses those numbers. Unlike in systems with the lines of D&D, where, you have a specific class, and that decides your entire career, unless, you want a multi-class, and even then, that's a separate kettle of fish to try and work with. You have a role. And that really just puts you into a general archetype to start out, and then from there, the whole world's your oyster. You go from there, you figure out what's touching on you, you figure out what you want to do with your job, and you go from there. Because, with this, Cyberpunk is a skill-based system. It doesn't matter what class you are unless you're aiming for specific things. You're in it for the skills you have. Roles are as follows. Solos. You're the gun for hire. Odds are you have some variety of military or police training, something of that similar ilk. As seen in your career skills, you are pretty much focused all on guns and weaponry-related skills, along with some infiltration. Your job is to get in, work with the team, extract the target, kill the guy, bring out the evidence, you're the muscle. It's your job to make sure the job gets done if things go south. Some ins and outs of the world you could know would be Morgan Blackhand, Jackie Wells, member of Outer Heaven, Diamond Dogs, Blackwater, or even Vincent or Valerie from Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, I know that there's arguments to be had, and I am more than willing to go over them, but V is a solo. I don't care what you say, they're a solo. So with this, you can either play it fairly straight. That's really about the only way you can do it. You're either going to go direct combat or stealth. There's not really much you can do with that involving your career skills. Obviously you can branch out, but right off the bat, your combat. Rocker boys. Musicians with a grudge against authority. Whatever that might look like. And with it, you're in good company with the likes of Samurai, Jack Entropy, Bruce Springsteen, and Hitler. If you think that one's a little weird, there's an entire article about it in one of the Interlock magazines. Give it a look. It's an interesting read. There's a few ways for you to play this rocker boy archetype. You can run it straight down the rebel path, You're slamming on your axe in front of a crowd, fuck the corpse, I'm Johnny Silverhand, Arasaka, Or you can do something a bit different. I had one character that was a rocker boy who was a law student, drug dealer, and cult leader all in one. If you know who this is, Scotch, it's Lux. Lux was a fucking headache to deal with, and I loved every second he was at the table. He was trying to learn Russian so he could get with an aristocrat. It's a fucking weird dude. Next up, we got netrunners. Hackers, code gurus. If you need somebody to slam their fingers on a keyboard and say, I'm in, as, binary just flashes in front of their face, this is who you're looking for. These guys are going to get a separate video, because netrunners operate on a completely different system. It is a game within a game. And to be honest, I don't quite understand how fully making a data fort or cyber deck works. I haven't read over that section of the book. We don't have netrunners at our table for that reason. Also, for every 7 turns in the net, one passes back flesh side. That's a bit of a change to deal with when it comes to running the table. So, with it, people in this career path that you're going to look for are some of the most influential in the world of cyberpunk. You've got Rayshbart Moss, the god of netrunning himself. We got Spider Murphy. Again, one of the bests. Up there with Alt Cunningham. We see her in 2077, though she's definitely not the same person. And if we're going outside of the cyberpunk universe, we got the people who invented the Morris worm and that level of hacker bullshit in varying degrees of skills. Next up, we got medias. You're on the search for the next big scoop, and you're going to give that scoop to the masses, or the corporations, whoever's paying you the most at this point, or whatever morals you tend to have at this point in time. You're trying to expose the secrets of the corpse and the dirty dealings of the world. The truth's out there, and by God, you're gonna find it. Most commonly on the ground with a camcorder, some muscle to make sure that you're actually doing the job, right, and aren't gonna get flatlined. You can do anything from running a pirate radio station, or even working in the corpse with N54, depending on what you're doing. Skills are heavily social. You're meant for talking your way into, out of, and through any problems you can get, as well as gathering the juiciest dirt you can find to blackmail, sell, or just know for the sake of it. What can I say? I'm a little nosy. Examples include Lyle Thompson, Woodward and Burstein, and Regina Jones back in the day. All in all, pretty small club, but by God, you have revealed some of the most earth-shattering things to know within this world. Now, we got a fan favorite, and also a favorite from Artel Sorian. We have the Nomads. In a single word,
I don't have friends. I got family.
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 road warriors, nomadic workers, guns for hire. You live on the edge of the civilized world, and you wouldn't want it any other way. 9 times out of 10, you will be the group's wheelman, and you will get a car during character creation. Please talk to your GM about this. I am not guaranteeing that you will get a car. It might be an absolute beat-up lemon, but you might get a car. I have not guaranteed anything. Please don't send your GM after me. Formed from disenfranchised and displaced farmers after the corporate wars, gathering together to help each other survive against the corpse, or really anyone who tries to mess with their family. Expect massive car and bike culture, or at least some mechanical skill. If any role really needs its own subgrouping and splat book, it's Nomads. And thankfully, they do have that splat book in Neo Tribes. Really interesting read. I recommend going over it, if nothing else, then to figure out what we're dealing with here. They have formed their own culture, and it is very worth exploring. You're in good company with the likes of Santiago, fan favorite Pan Am Palmer, and maybe to extent some of the Top Gear folks. And I'd also say probably Mad Max. All of you guys are nomads. Big car culture, big bikes. You're out there doing your best to survive. Good shit. Fixers. No one knows the streets like you do. If there's a deal to be dealt, you can cut it and make sure it happens. You know the streets, the back alleys, and how to make a good deal. If you need something, odds are you can get it. Or at the very least, you know a guy who knows a guy who can get it. It just fell out the back of the truck. Italian mobster type. Skills are really built around this. You know who you need to know, you know how to get it, and you can get it from a source even if it ain't willing. All in all, you are the people giving the jobs to the party at large. And with that, get ready to talk to your GM a whole fucking lot. Because you are going to be dealing with them, and you're really going to get the story rolling. You might not be the main character, but you're the quest board that gives the main character his job. Examples in world, you got Wakako, Mr. Hands, Rogue, LinkedIn, just anyone who can get you a job, get what you need. Hell, the drug dealer who you bought weed from in high school, he's probably a fixer. Not a good one, but he's a fixer. Cops. You're the authority on the block. With badge and iron, most think twice about messing with you. Getting your own splat book full of gang information, legal backgrounds, codes, and a physical exam I sure fucking hope that you can pass. You're sworn to protect the public against those who would do them harm. You're gonna follow that oath, right? Right? Mostly. While the name suggests you ride with the NCPD, you can easily play this as any enforcer type from anything. Be that gangs, corporations. Your job is you throw your weight around and you get stuff done. You're here to make things work, god damn it. And if that involves throwing you in the back of the squad car after giving you a beatdown, you shouldn't have resisted. Ever considered that? You can also be part of a PMC. Again, anything that requires authority. You're in company, can't say it's good company, with like the turtle dude from V's apartment. Your Officer John Johnson from your hometown, the traffic dude who stands in the middle of the intersection with a whistle and directs traffic. You can be that guy, I guess. And that you also got that dude in the Sinnerman quest. I don't remember his name. Not a lot of cop characters I can think of right off the top of my head if we're going by the traditional definition. Again, you're an enforcer type. Take that as you will. Corpos. You haven't found an issue that can't be solved by throwing money at it. And if you have, you're clearly too poor to solve the issue properly. Your skill set is very much based on influence and money. You know the guys who you should know, you can pay them, you do the whole shit and shindig. You're a funny guy to be around, but by God, your employees fucking hate you. Your role is called resources, for fuck's sake. And it just asks, okay, how much can you write off from the company budget and still make it work out in terms of taxes? Odds are you are gonna be the most educated member of the party. At least on paper, anyway. Not sure about street smarts, but hey, that's between you and your god to figure out. You're gonna be financing the whole gig most likely, and the fixer is gonna be your go-between. You need plausible deniability here. The big suits can't know that you're the one who's trying to steal the shit from the other company. You don't necessarily need to be part of a corp, but you need a network to work with so that you can finance the whole operation to an almost unreasonable degree. We can put helicopters on this, right? It'll work within the budget. You're in company with Yorinobu, Jeff Bezos, and other such fat cats back at the bar. Just hope they don't try to saddle you with the bill. I'd hate to see how you explain this one to accounting. Techie, you built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Hear me, a box of scraps! With a little time, few nuts and bolts, and a bit of welding, maybe throw in a roll of duct tape as well, you can fix or break damn near anything. And your skills reflect that. Knowing a lot about a lot, and even being able to teach people a thing or two, there's two main flavors that you can run with techies as a whole. You got your traditional engineer, MacGyver, Tony Stark type. You know, I built an Iron Man suit with nothing but a broken toaster and a box of Kit Kats. Or you got the medical type. You know, you watched The Pit, you thought it was a good show. I want to be Dr. Robbie. So with this, odds are you're going to be the chrome jockey for the group. You'll stitch them up, bolt another cyber leg onto their ass, and call them tripod. There's so much you can do with this role, and odds are you're going to be the man in the background trying to get things to work while the corpo tries to throw his money around. You actually get the job done. You're in the shop working away with the likes of Judy, MacGyver, Victor, Tony Stark. All in all, there's worth company to be in. With this... where the fuck... Whatever. With all the roles finished, you can see the general scope that we're going for. You're trying to fit into broad archetypes, and with that, all in all, it goes well. You just need to be aware that these are directions your character is being pushed in, not your entire identity necessarily. But hey, you play you. That's the wonderful thing about tabletop games. All of it is up to you for how you run this shit. Skills. Next up with skills, you get 10 of these from your role, called career skills, with 40 points to split all the way among them. You can go fours across the board, but that's not necessarily good. You want to be good at some things, less good at others. That's the more interesting storytelling. As mentioned in the past segment, all of your career skills fit nicely within the direction you're being lightly pushed in. Though if you do want to change up a skill, talk to your referee, game manager, dungeon master. Everything's good. Just talk to them. Tell them I sent you. You know. They'll give it some reasonable thought and go from there. Once you've sorted out all of those, then you get pickup skills. They're called that because you can pick them up for a little bit of a cost. These cannot be done within your career skills. These are stuff you learned outside of your career. For example, if you want to be a horticulturist in your free time, god damn it, you can do the horticulture. You just can't spend your 40 career points on that unless you make a whole new class about horticulture, but who am I to judge on that? With it, these points for your pickup skills are gathered by adding your reflexes and your int together. From that, I'm not going to go over 90 plus skills individually, but I will touch on them overall as a concept so you know what you're working with. Skills are on a scale from 1 to 10. If you have a 1 in it, that means you have some actual training in it. You know how to fire a weapon, though combat might be a bit of a foreign concept to you. You've been at the range a few times, you hit clays with some friends, nothing all that special. 10, on the other hand, you're a well-known gunslinger, and you can shoot the balls off a gnat at 100 paces. You are good. Very good. When you use your skills, it'll go as follows. You're going to take your skill, plus your stat, plus your die roll, and then you get your result. Then you take the result and compare it to the DC. If it beats it, congratulations, you won. If not, too bad sport, you'll get them next time. For DCs, there is a good range of these set in the manual. 10 is the easiest thing possible that you need to roll for. Most characters with any amount of skill can make this because, again, you're taking whatever skill you have, plus your stat, plus the die roll. Add those together, odds are it will equal more than 10 unless you are really bad at it or your luck is abysmal. Now, on the other end of the scale, we have 30 plus. This is for impossible feats that you might be able to make. These are going to take a fair bit of skill, because if you roll a 10, your die explodes, and you can roll that same die again. Theoretically, you can get really high stuff. The issue is you need to be lucky as shit to do it. Something even your own luck stat cannot govern. If you want a more detailed layout in terms of additional modifiers, as well as having stuff like quality tools, a hostile environment, players trying to help you out by telling you what to do, or if you're just rushed while doing it, there's a set of really good resources that I'll link down below, made by Seth Skorkowski. Amazing YouTuber. Check him out. He's got some good stuff about this and is very well known. He's also an author. Look at his books. So, think of task difficulty as how difficult it would be normally. Normally, this is just a 10, but you've got people shooting at you, friends telling you what to do, and you need to get it done really fucking quick. That's where the difficulty modifiers come in. It all builds up, and now you need to make a plus 20 on the roll. Good luck, mate. You'll need it. So with all this, let's move on to the final segment here. Chrome and combat. Chrome is connected entirely to your empathy stat. You, from this, have a pool of humanity points. And with these, every piece of cyberware costs you some of your humanity. You're more machine than man now. And with this, the cost comes in both eddies and humanity. Every 10 points of humanity you lose, you end up losing 1 level of empathy as well. As written in the book example, if you spend 36 points of humanity on Chrome, it will lower your empathy by 3. The lower your empathy is, the less human or normal you can act. At 3, you could be described as having the affect of a cold fish, and at 1, you could be violent or generally just not safe to be around. And once you hit 0, well, hand those papers over to your GM and start rolling up a new character. You are a cyber psycho. Let's hope that you don't die while waiting for C-SWAT to come and get you. Because Trauma Team sure as shit ain't coming, and MaxTac hasn't been invented yet. You're shit out of luck here. But all of this is how it can present. Cyberpsychosis doesn't always present itself the same for everyone. You're not always violent and destructive In fact, more often than times, you're not. It manifests in more subtle ways for some people. You might have violent mood swings. You might be a bit sadist. You might have an odd fixation on potatoes. You just think they're neat. Or, we had a dude at our table who was on the verge of dropping over that edge into full-blown cyberpsychosis. Nicest fucking dude you could ever meet. He was really, really, really friendly. Dude's name was Rico. Great guy. But, he needed to lay off the chrome because he was losing it. So talk it over with your GM. I'm sure they'll have some ideas for how you can manifest your cyberpsychosis, and you can play into that when you start losing your mind. For the most common implants I've seen people throw together, cyber arms for better strength, lets you handle things, throw stuff around better, stuff of that nature. Skin weave gives you increased armor. It's really nice just because you don't have to worry about wearing armor as much when you're dealing with small arms fire. The big stuff you still need armor for, but hey, this'll make it so that if some gutter punk tries to jump you with a pistol while you're getting beers, hey, it'll just bounce right off you while you cave his skull in. And a big one at our table that people were aiming for, a linear frame. Costs a bunch of your empathy, shit ton of eddies, and it's a damn good thing to have. Boosts your attack, your damage, and just generally is cool because you have a cyber skeleton implanted into you, or you can have it on the outside of your body, depending on how you want to run it. And through all this, you've probably seen, but Chrome is a really fun system to play with, ranging from your more traditional metallic limbs, cyber hands, gun inside your arm, stuff of that nature, to BioWare, where you can literally design organs to work better. Have your heart split into 3 pieces in your chest so that when you get shot you don't bleed out as easily. All in all, the system is there for you to play with. There's a reason it's called Gun Barbie for some people. Now, we get on the Friday night firefight. What I would consider the selling point of this system. If you try out Cyberpunk at all, this is why I recommend you try it. The combat system, in combination with everything else in the setting, it is the greatest thing I have played in terms of combat. Let's get into it. Friday Night Firefight draws from a myriad of sources to try and be accurate. It's got FBI data, cop shooting statistics, and it even had a pair of Army Rangers go and discuss their stuff with the one and only Mike Pondsmith. It was designed to be as realistic as possible by Artal and Pond. It's a crunchy system, and once you get the hang of it, it will feel damn good to play in. A major part of the combat system, as with the skills, is modifiers. You've got damage ranges, hit locations, and general attachments. Each gun has a range. So, let's create an example situation to show you how the system works. This is John Cyberpunk. He is a low-level Arasaka merc using the company-provided Arasaka WSA auto pistol. It has a range of 50 meters, and the range bands are as follows. At point blank, which is a range of touching to 1 meter, the DC is 10. Again, you'd have to be blind and a paraplegic to not hit that shot. At close range, you're a quarter of the range of that gun. In this case, up to 12 meters. The DC of this is 15. Medium range is half of the full range of the gun, with a DC of 20. Long range is the full distance listed as the gun's range, with a DC of 25. Now we're at extreme range. This is double the range of what the gun can normally do, with a DC of 30. You better stack all the odds in your favors if you want to make that shot. So, we have John Cyberpunk. He is targeting someone 5 meters that direction. They are hiding behind a fridge door, and with only his head and shoulders visible. His pistol has a silencer on it, as well as a smart link. All of this adds together for a total bonus of -3. With this, he takes his first attack. Taking his reflexes of 7 and his handgun skill of 6, we get a base of 13. Adding our situational bonus of -3, that would mean to hit his target, John would need to roll a minimum of 5 to get the 15 required. Adding it all together, we see that he has managed to roll a 14, just missing. Now, thinking that he can make it, he takes a second shot. But to do this, he also takes another -3 penalty to get that additional action. Meaning, he now needs to roll an 8 to hit. And look at that, he just did it. Now, we roll hit location. Taking our D10, we roll on this table and get a 1, right in the head. Looking over at the pistol, we see that it does 2d6 plus 3. Rolling that, we get a 3 and 3 for a total of 9. The target has a body type modifier of 0, resulting in a -0 to any damage taken. He also has a pair of armored sunglasses with a SP of 1, reducing the damage rolled by 1, making the total damage an 8. Here we get into the limb and targeted system of Cyberpunk. If a limb takes a total of 8 damage, it is destroyed. This is really fun for arms because it can get you cybernetic limbs. It's bad for your head because the head takes double damage. So, you would just need 4 damage to somebody's cranium before it explodes like a watermelon. With this, since we did 8 damage to the head, that 8 damage, after going through all of the minuses, reducing for armor, body type modifier, and any additional cover being used, we get a total of 16 damage to his head, destroying it twice over. If there was any armor, such as his glasses, it would have a SP or stopping power. If the number of damage is below the SP, that damage bounces completely. Turns out, the sunglasses were not sturdy enough to block all 16 of that gunfire. Unfortunate, really. Maybe we can find some better ones at the Chrome Jockeys. So, if you do need to mark damage on your character sheet, that will fill in the bracket here. It ranges from light to mortal 6. In theory, you can survive all of it, just as long as you keep making your body save. For every time you go above, you take stun, and then once you get to the mortal category, if you fail your stun save, I'm sorry sir, but you are dead. You are no more. You have gone to meet your maker. You are an ex-merc. Monty Python bits aside, this can result in you getting damaged way easier, causing a massive death spiral all the way down till you bleed out in the gutter, with your limbs blown off and your head looking like a squished melon. You don't want to end up there. Get your trauma team policy. It's 500 eddies a month, and they'll show up in a few minutes. Just stay alive until then. Melee attacks work the same. What you do is it's a competition roll. The table will be shown here, but you take your attack against their defense. If the defense wins, your attack goes wide. If it doesn't get beaten, boom. Blade right to the head. For explosives and grenades, a massive part of this system if you want to play smart and clear rooms, the thing to be aware of is they do AoE damage. There is an entire area that will get hit even if you slightly miss. Just be aware of that. The grenade table on screen gives a better idea of how they will roll when you miss the system that you're aiming for. Just be aware. Friendly fire is not, and grenades have a habit of getting friendlies just as much as it does getting you. So, when you boil this combat system down, to its bare bones, it's just about stacking modifiers. You gotta stack what modifiers you have to get the most out of your attacks while having a good chance to hit. It results in combat going really quick if you know what you're doing, but also being really lethal. As I showed with the Arasaka WSA, if you go boom, 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 on the third shot you're going to have -6. You better hope that you have the bonuses to counter that. So, balance all your benefits and you'll do fine. The full list of modifiers will be shown on screen. And I think with all of this, you might be able to see why I love Friday Night Firefight as a concept, with all the detailing you have within. The source material, if you could call it, that combat reports, stuff like that, really seems to shine through when you're running the combat, and you have all these intricacies. You're balancing sight lines, who's where, general light, and what's behind your target. Because if you miss, I hope your friend ain't behind, because boom, you just went wide. All in all, while the systems might be a little more crunchy than what people are used to in this day and age compared to something like D&D, well, 5th edition anyway. I haven't played, what is it called now, like 5.5 next 1 D&D, whatever WotC decided to call it. Cyberpunk is a little crunchier, and I haven't tried out Red all that much, but I love the individuality in weaponry that you find in 2020. So as we wind down and finish our talk, is there anything else you want touched on? I'm going to be working on figuring out how netrunners work so I can release that video, hopefully, in a more timely manner than this one did compared to the short. Going to work on a few videos in line with my David Martinez one, specifically with V and Main. The latter causing me a lot more headache than I thought it would be, resulting in me needing to get the maximum metal source book, which I was not expecting, but I am not complaining about. But that's a take for another video. I hope that you all have had a damn good time. I have. This video has gone through a few iterations. I'm trying to figure out how exactly to get it to work, because I am recording this on the 2nd of April, and I'm not sure when this will get out, but it was supposed to be out back in November. As you can see, it isn't November. But I hope you all have a wonderful time. You all know the drill. Stuff down below. Do it as you see fit. And see ya in the next one.